Hello and welcome to LGHL Puckcast, episode 1. Today we got a lot of fun topics to talk about. MYR and Philadelphia on fire after Clamps and Yardage quitting. The Montreal shit show. Some fucking trades. Haxby and Chislett, McLovin Huds, and Grin moved. And the downfall of the Oilers in Tampa Bay and Carolina. All teams looking hot after week 2, dropping down the standings after week 3. And we got some fun, bold predictions and surprises. I am your host, Columbus Blue Jackets owner, Vatty. Today on the show, we got Arizona Coyotes owner, Pure Talent.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
And Chicago star goaltender and media member, Psychic Taco.
Hello, everyone.
All right, boys. So week 3, it's over. It's an interesting season to say the least. We got Rio leading the points, and the best team in the NHL is a team that no one thought, the Winnipeg Jets. Let's go ahead and talk about the standings for a bit. So first, let's talk about the Eastern Metropolitan. We have New Jersey with 34, the Rangers with 32, Philly with 29 at the top 3 playoffs. And then we got Pittsburgh, Washington, Columbus, the Islanders, and Carolina leading the pack. So what are you guys thinking about the Metro? Any surprises here? We know, Taco, you did a write-up previous this season. We were just talking about this. It kind of looks like your predictions were right so far.
Philadelphia, for being as much of a mess as they've been every week with Frank constantly talking in the chat box, for Hannock now being moved, new goaltender, just everyone coming in and out, and everybody being excited to play for Yargage. I don't know how they're in a playoff.
Honestly, I called that. We kind of I talked about it with some owners, and Yargage quitting is probably the best thing that Philadelphia's had happen to them all season.
Yeah,
so I guess
I mean, the thing is like Karch knows what he's doing, right? Like he's a big name player. He's gonna get those big names to play for him. Like he knows what he's doing. Like Yargage or Karch there, I think they would have still been a decent team. But I mean, I think Karch taking charge are definitely gonna be a little bit better. I know Karch seems a little bit more organized than Yargage did at the beginning of the season. So I mean, there's obviously a reason why they're up there right now.
I think the big thing is you lose a third liner, like as a manager, because you look at it. The Rangers, they lose T1 Clamps. We know, as much shit as Hendry wants to talk about how Clamps lost games. I know it's as a fact Columbus would have taken Clamps as a GM if he asked. I see the Rangers bounce back as a bigger surprise than the Philadelphia comeback. Only really because Hendry dropped a lot of those cancers. I think that's the only reason they got better.
Well, yeah, he dropped them, but at the same time, Clamps wasn't fitting in there for whatever reason. He's an elite D-man, but, he wasn't fitting in there for whatever reason. Then he went ahead and made Nav his GM, which frees up, $9 million in cap. So, obviously he was able to make some big moves, which he did. His team looks pretty solid. I think it looks a little bit more well-rounded than it did when Clamps was there, honestly, even though he's a really top D-man.
A little bit of raw talent fallout there. Clamps were prior teammates, and they had that split. And I think they just butt heads a little bit sometimes. And I think bit focused on prophecy. He isn't interested. Now the team's rebounding. I think one of the most surprising things, though, is Carolina being as bad as they are right now.
Well, you have to remember, how many guys have quit on Carolina now? With the comeback of RJM, who they picked up in a trade, he just got banned last week. I guess he fought with the league for an appeal, got the appeal granted. He's back on Carolina. But Zam quit and MYR quit. Once MYR quit, I think everybody was like, okay, expectations are a little bit lower. But you still have the elite PSN Jim Benning kid over there who hasn't done jack shit, really. You have him there. You got Titan there. You got, the owner is Polsky Boss. But Jim Benning literally 4-4-1 with 13 points in 9 games. I expected more out of that. They got more out of an AHL kid in Cobb, who's went, same stat line. One less game won, but I don't know. I think that team has officially solidified itself as a bottom feeder now.
Well, yeah,
I don't think there's no coming back from it. I think Shutt maybe will maybe help them out a little bit, steal some games, but I really don't think there's any way with the current roster that they have now that they're going to come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, looking at the standings here, they have the third most goals against in the entire league. Like, giving up the third most amount of goals in the league, obviously, it obviously shows that your defense is incapable of competing right now. So, I think that they're gonna stay in the spot that they are. To be honest with you guys.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Eastern Atlantic. No wasting time here. We got Florida Panthers leading the pack at 38 points. My bad. 36 points is Boston. Detroit with 34. Behind them, the very, very hyped up Ottawa Senators, Toronto, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and Montreal. Any surprises here?
To say Montreal again being as bad, it's really tough to tell who's going to be the worst in most cases. I think half decent team, even with Super Saiyan being the GM, decently talented. Poor execution on the manager's end by both Knight and the entire roster, low morale. It just torpedoed that team to start.
Yeah, I agree.
In the last 10.
Let's not talk too much about it, as that's one of our 5 big topics we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Florida a little bit.
Yeah.
Huge surprise there.
Yeah, that's a massive surprise. I mean, obviously Stastny was a last-minute owner, and he's a really good dude. But I did not expect him to be first place at the end of week 3. But honestly, looking through his roster right now, they do have some solid players, and they're all producing right now. Like Sakic right now is 18 points, Riz 22, FNWA 17. Like they have like 6 or 7 players who has close to 20 points already.
I think the big thing for Florida, honest to God, is you took chances on Ali X21. Not a fantastic PSA kid. He comes over, 17 points in 8 games. You drafted capitalized, 24 points in 8 games. Like it's pretty huge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, Stastny knows what he's doing. I think a lot of people doubted him, and I have a feeling teams are probably feeding them third lines at the beginning, thinking he was going to be shit. But obviously, he's proved that that they could fuck with anyone in that division.
I think the best thing about it is even with being one of the best guys at the time, probably other than capitalize, obviously, still moves him, and he recognizes that. And sometimes you do have to, give up people like Kovalev, and you got Waz back.
I think, yeah. I mean, the fact that Waz showed up for him is huge too. I mean, every guy they got on this team is producing. Like you took chances on guys, and everyone has that. You're late in the bidding. Here, we both know that as owners, you're late in the bidding. You got to find that guy that comes in and works well. Like you took a chance on Pizza Romo. It's working. That's that guy. He's really never shown he's more than a third line defenseman in the NHL. He's showing that this season with 7-1 record. Like the fact that he can do that and when it works, like that's what makes a great team, especially with the $6 million GM hold this season. Like bringing in those chance guys and they make an impact immediately, automatically like your team's like looking good, and that's why he's sitting at 38 points right now.
Yeah, well, that team played my top line. They played CT, Shocks, and Miller, and honestly, watching that game, man, I don't know. They just look like a hard team to play against. Like Capitalize and Snasty are playing, and they just all look like they're gelling together, which is going to make them definitely a contender this season, I think.
For sure. All right, no time wasted again. Let's go to the West Central. We got the surprise Winnipeg Jets leading the league right now in wins. They have 23 wins with 47 points. You got Colorado with 41 and Chicago with 40. Behind them, you got Minnesota, St. Louis, Nashville, and Dallas. Any surprises here?
Personally, none. Best division in the league, to be honest. 40 points plus with 3 teams already.
Best division? I don't know about
I
that.
I think on the top end you'd have to say so. I mean, Minnesota being a fourth spot in the division,
I
lineup
I think
and
this is a great division. I won't disagree with you on that. But I know that I would personally love to beat up on Dallas, Nashville, and the Blues all season long for sixth time. Um,
I'd
I
say
will
maybe
give it
top
to
end
you guys.
talent considering.
Top end
I
talent
would
for
say
sure, but it definitely drops off at 5, 6, and 7. Um, which we'll talk about St. Louis. They're a big top. You know, they're going to be big in that trades discussion we're going to have later in the show. I would say, but top end talent. I mean, Minnesota for sure would be a playoff team in any other division. But here they look like they're gonna be a wild card team. I I think Winnipeg is a surprise. Just that the fact fourth line brought everyone that wanted Calder with him, like the
But
important players
I
up
don't even
and
think I don't
starting.
even think that's a surprise, to be honest, because like those like no offense to Fourth, but like he doesn't get off of this game with these players, man. They're on the game 24/7 nonstop, and I have a feeling there was a reason why he took ownership at this time rather than 2 seasons or a season ago, because I think he wanted to go out strong in the AHL, and I mean I didn't see it as a shock. I definitely thought they were going to be a top three team, but I mean I didn't think they'd only have 3 losses. But I know they're all solid guys, and they don't get off the game.
For sure. I would also say um, I'm not shocked. Me and Taco were talking a bit before the show. I think we're both not very shocked that Dallas and Nashville are doing what they're doing. Um, Over the past 3 weeks, it's a constant battle of losing trades.
Yeah,
Um,
but Nashville, I'm kind of shocked a little bit. Like Spectre was my owner last season. We had nothing, and he built a contender. Like, I mean, he's definitely an experienced owner, and Cabot being his GM, I can see them maybe climbing up the standings. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't.
I don't think I'll go as far as saying they'll hit Minnesota, but honestly, I know Spectre knows what he's doing, and I can see
I,
them maybe surprising a few teams here and there.
it really depends. This is we have a new St. Louis team every week. As me and Taco talked a lot before the show. We talked a lot about how St. Louis is just consistently rebuilding. Once again, we'll talk about that later in the show. But we have a new St. Louis team again. I think they got better this time. I think they definitely are gonna make a push for Minnesota. I don't think they're better than Minnesota. Without any time, let's go ahead and jump to the Western Pacific. We have the wonderful led by Gilly San Jose Sharks leading that division with 44 points. Close behind them is Vancouver with 40, Calgary with 33, and then we have Piers Arizona Coyotes, the Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Ducks, Vegas Golden Knights, and Edmonton Oilers. What do you guys want to say on this one? I, I, I honestly, I was kind of hoping Edmonton would keep pushing. It looks like they really fell off the wagon last week. A 2-7 in 1 week against your own division. Um, some would say this is the hardest division in the league. Um, it was definitely a hard division last season. This season, I thought Snoopy really made a first line that could contend with those top three teams, but it does not look like they're going to continue to keep pulling that backpack up the hill. Vegas isn't doing as well as I thought they were going to do, and I definitely thought Wags was going to be better than he is. But aside from that, I'm not really shocked by anybody on this list. Calgary, I thought would have a few more points. Dubs and the Seized Goblin on that team, but
I think it's
other
going to
than
be
that,
really tough for them to get over the top two. Probably two of the best defensive teams in the league at this point in time. I mean, defensive depth, San Jose is stacked, except for should not be named on the stream. Well, it changes every week, but it's just as creative as the next one. But Vancouver's defensive core is also really good. And it shows both of them have some of the lowest goals against totals in the league. And no matter what game they're playing, whoever they're playing with, they're always close. If they lose, it's close.
I will say one thing. Vegas and Los Angeles and Anaheim need to learn how to stop pucks from going into their goddamn net if they're going to even make a push for this division. Los Angeles sitting at 70 goals for and 81 against. Anaheim 81 for and 89 against. I mean, I actually am almost positive that yeah, Anaheim is tied for the league in goals. Um, and
Pretty high number.
they lead the league in goals against behind I would say Nashville. Yeah, Nashville, St. Louis, and Dallas.
And then Carolina. Yeah.
Well, no, are they behind Carolina? I'm going to
Yeah,
look
they
now.
are.
I
Yeah.
need
Yeah. They're behind a couple.
Wow. I mean, those teams are really, you're looking at 300 goals against at the end of the season if you're really keeping up the pace.
Yeah, but
that's fucking
yeah,
insane.
but the thing with Wags' team, man, is like their team is heavy offense and their defense is weaker. Like if you look at my team, for example, we have 63 goals for and 59 against. They have 81 goals for and 89 against. If they just figured out their back end situation, man, like they'd 100% be over us right now.
I think Anaheim fixes their defense problem, and they could easily be third in this division.
Yeah.
Well, they could also be a little more conservative as well. I mean, scoring 81 goals, you're even tone it down a little bit and play a little more defensively to help out that weak defense. You could see them still scoring enough goals to win. Down the offensive chances on the other end.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Teams that need to score more in this division, I'm gonna just go ahead and point fingers, Pierre. I hope you figure it out this next week. 63 goals for. But even worse than that is Vegas. I mean, Jesus, 53 goals for is really hard to do. Especially when this division looks like it's such a high scoring, high flying offense on almost every team. You thought Vegas would come out and do a little bit better, especially with Dugan behind the 8 ball, but I nothing yet.
Yeah, well, right now I'm gonna go on 11 and say something about my team. Well, we got one line essentially right now. CT Shocks and Miller has basically carried our entire team, or entire few weeks here. I made a few trades. Hopefully, we get back up there in terms of goals for. But those have those have been my scores basically. If you even look for their points.
Yeah, for sure. All right, boys, let's go to topics. So our first topic we're going to talk about today, I think we're going to jump into it a little bit deeper with the Rangers and Philadelphia coming back. Definitely. Standing. They have a good team. Pretty close. I mean, still
What Playboy Prime and Rock. If you look at and the worst left winger more, but honestly, I think they're for big time.
How do you upgrade? It's here anymore.
they're going to be start everyone summer draft Parton line, but Philadelphia was a 1-goal game. But my bad. I mean that's we they went and all not only was conscious, but built at a
we saw kids going for obnoxious prices, um, especially kids that never proved anything in the Xbox side. And the fact that he pulled all of these depth guys
Xbox
together, and their names,
and
Playboy Prime, that he pulled him in a trade. They pulled Basketball in a trade. Um, I think it's huge.
and that he pulled a trade. I think it's huge.
Depth in terms of on his team that he
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah.
I think again, Yargich was a third liner, so I didn't think, not Yargich. Clamps was a first line D man, so that's first any.
It was a first
But the fact that he pulled it together as well as he did, I honestly think
like
Hendry's proven himself as an owner, and I think he's
I honest
a lot of people called the rest in peace Rangers after Clamps left, and I think he's proving us all wrong. Go ahead and talk about Philadelphia. I mean, Tarsh pulls it together after
Saw
Yargich. This is a little bit more of a believable turnaround, in my opinion.
a little bit more
He called up the wall.
of a belief. He
Gave
called up the
gave him DM,
wall
but Milan Ted also doing a lot of the
out
work for the manager,
gave him also
especially this last week. Um, and they actually, I mean, they were just smart with trades. And they made the best out of their players this week. They went 6-3 as well.
trade
They
back
beat the Rangers 3-2 on Sunday, and their
last
only
week.
losses
They
came
actually
from
3-2 on
Donovan's
Sunday.
Rangers, a surprising loss to the Islanders, and a 5-4 loss to
They
the
got a 5-4 loss
But I mean, they look just a lot stronger.
to the
And I feel like
Toronto
the burden is gone after Yargich left.
Maple Leafs. Just a lot stronger. Gone.
I th-
Now they know it is the only. My
yeah, I think
No, no.
for them to continue to do well, though, they really need their no names to come up big. Guys like
Rain, guys like
um,
BD Beast,
Shadowlack,
Shadowlack, and Bubba GX, who they just picked up in trades.
they
They really need their Zuxukigno and new School Bus. They're both drafted players. They need them to come up big, I think, for this, for the playoff push. I wouldn't say their third line is as strong as the Rangers by any means, but I think they made the right moves and they have some depth there. It will. I don't know if they'll do as well in week 4 now that they've kind of shown the league that they do have some skill still. But I think for sure they still have a first line that's scary.
Yeah, but I mean, Philly, they only have 54 goals for. I mean, they're in a really similar situation as my team. Like, I think they need a little bit more firepower up front. I mean, unless they got wicked defense, 50 goals for in any division won't cut it, especially in week 3.
I
I
agree.
think with their new acquisitions in Vedette and the Wall and the Nylander, I forget, is that Elitsov? Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
having those two on a line will do pretty well. Karsh and Cheese Whiz will do pretty well. Did the necessary things, getting that ninth forward out of trading Rahanic, very necessary. I think they're a playoff team in a weaker Atlantic with Carolina imploding. Good chance.
I think that division's wide open. Of course, I hope it's wide open. But I think that the Flyers they've definitely made moves to show that they're still in it and they're still contending. And I think this is a move. The moves they made this week, they wouldn't have been made if Yargich was still there. Yargich is a guy that keeps a lot of his boys around. We saw the depth of Philadelphia was the same as the depth of Philadelphia last season. Roof Daddy, big league ball, guys like that. I think bringing Karshin to kind of clear out some of that yardage staples, I think it actually helped them a lot. I'm very interested to see what they do in week 4 for sure. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep up a 6-3, 5-4 week. But I think they definitely have the skill to do it still. So without further ado, let's go to our second topic of the night: Montreal. um,
First
I can't confirm or deny that if an AHL
team in the league, huh?
Montreal.
I can't.
Uh, you know what, man? Like the thing with Montreal right now is, Knight. He's a solid defenseman. As soon as he switched to goalie, I knew I was like, man, this isn't gonna go good. And I knew from the second he switched. You can't take a goalie as a free contract, especially in the NHL. And I mean, yeah. And I mean, like this week, Super Saiyan went 3-0. They got 3 wins, but I don't know, man. I don't see them going anywhere really. And I mean, props to Soup for taking over though, because that would be a shitty situation to be in.
Yeah.
I think you made trades. You got Ethos and SBDR. I mean, and Scopes. All of which you've done okay. Wherever they were before. Shakeup was needed. He took Jack Dupe's contract and got rid of it.
I still just I don't think
Only go up. Only go up.
it's a sad thing to see a team just go to shit in week 3. But I mean, you go look and it's Schwartz at 83 at 5 mil. It's a questionable contract for sure. I saw Lessons, who was on an AHL deal of 4 mil. They called him up and took him on. It's when you start having to do that you get a little worried about how the team's gonna do. And the fact that they've already resorted to taking on those kind of players and deals, I think shows you that the management knows where they're headed, and it's just unfortunate to see that because you want parity in the league, and I it's not fun seeing when there's not parity in the league.
I'd say to keep an eye out with Montreal is who they send Luffy to. I think that's going to be their one. I mean, they got Luffy and Cronwall. I don't think Cronwall is going to be as valuable as Luffy. Expensive, but I mean, if they find a team that'll pair him with the right guy, top end defenseman, they could move out. Who's on
Luffy's on a great contract this year too. I mean, 4 mil, 2-season deal. It's a very good deal. The Cromwell's paid a little bit higher, but he still produces. He's shown that he can really produce in the NHL, and a couple other guys I think they could really part out. Is third liner Ha got him. He's got bumps, and that kid's pretty damn good. If Ethos James can turn it around and play like we all know he can play, I think he's some good trade bait too. It'd be interesting to see where those 4 guys go at trade deadline.
Yeah, honestly though, I feel like Soup isn't into taking ownership for a summer season. So I mean, I don't think he's going to be selling as much as he would just rather throw a competitive team out there. Because Soup, I believe he just wants to really stick GM, unless there's something that I'm unaware of. But honestly, I just see him trying to put a competitive team out there, try to turn some heads.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they can pull some crazy trades off or something, or maybe find some guys that just have chemistry together to do better. But as for me, I don't think they're coming out of that basement.
Yeah.
On to the next topic. Let's talk about the trades. Big trades this week. Chislett and Haxby get moved for McLovin. Huds went in, and Shekel. What do you guys think of that one?
Why? Why does Colorado do that? Have to make any moves right now. I don't. Played pretty well. I don't know. Like I can understand if he was struggling, or maybe if something wasn't meshing with availability, but it seemed like everybody was getting their night like 3 games a week. No, there wasn't any like rumors of issues or anything. Really good forward in McLovin. But I mean, then look at Haxby, who hasn't been really good recently.
I mean, Haxby and Chislett have been shit all season. I mean, not to really shit on two guys who have been here forever, but what have they done?
Man, they're still good players though. They still got their chemistry. I mean, honestly, like if you really look at that trade, if Chislett and Haxby turn it on to some extent, man, like that really does make Colorado look like a scarier team. And by the looks of it, they literally just gave up Shuckle and Hudson up for Haxby and Chislett. So, I mean, in what world is that trade besides the McLovin piece? How is that not an upgrade for Colorado?
I mean, I would say that too, but Huds is I think Huds proved himself as a second liner in the NHL for $500K. I think that's a great deal in my opinion. McLovin, I mean, with that team, they're second in the division right now with those players. I just don't know why you make a trade you don't have to make.
It's no comp for Hudson, so I'm wondering if maybe there's something up there, but that shouldn't force a 4-for-4 trade. Ballistic's pretty good. Chunks isn't bad either, but I just
question why you would do that trade.
It could really pay off, but it could also really backfire.
Yeah, agreed. Now, next trade, the Rahanic trade. Interesting move to say the least. I don't know why Calgary took that trade. I think that was a win on all, without a doubt, for Philadelphia.
And it just makes my division harder, heading Rahanic to Calgary. I mean, I really didn't get the trade. Like, I know Rahanic is having surgery or something like that in a few weeks. I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know if Calgary knows. I don't know if the surgery's canceled or something. But that was just something that I overheard with Rahanic. So I don't know if that was Karch trying to dump that before it was too late.
I think it was a smart trade for Karch, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
it was a good trade.
Yeah, he made his team a lot deeper. I mean, at the expense of Rahanic, he's really good regardless of what NHL he's played, in my opinion. He's always going to be a top line guy, I think, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of what unfolds between those two trades, between that one trade.
And then, of course, we see McLovin traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Bren. And that's another one where I don't know why St. Louis trades McLovin, who really is, from what I hear, all means a nice guy. I don't understand it.
Who knows, man? I mean, Gren, talking to Bossy, I don't think Gren was too happy being in Tampa. So I don't know.
Much happier in St. Louis, to be honest. I don't think he's gonna be happy anywhere unless it's St. Louis. I mean, not St. Louis, but San Jose. Or ex-top team.
Yeah, but that's said about every player, right? I don't know. There's definitely something that went down with Hendry for sure, or not with Hendry, with Gren.
Deal too, which really makes it scary. Gren has the option to just.
I mean, Gren's not scared to quit too, and that's why I wonder why you do that trade on St. Louis's part. Having a guy that has quit before and without question just will drop on a dime. That's scary.
Over cap. They would have been over cap, I think. With I didn't see what the cap space was when they had McLovin on the roster, but I feel like they were over. Only get better for him. I mean, the guy was an obvious Can-Am choice. He's a really good esports player, and
it just wasn't again
taking a gamble on Gren.
Right, and St. Louis has made so many trades. I mean, we look I mean, Neji literally offed the line that won him, got him to playoff single-handedly with Gross and Amiat in week, what, 2 or 1 was that? I think it was week 1. And he just cut the head right off the snake. And the team produces the same results, which is Chislett and Haxby. And once again, he's done. He's cutting off the head of the snake. But I think he did better with getting McLovin. Either way, I liked McLovin more than I like Grin just because of the cancer aspect of the deal. The only thing I think they did do is they improved their depth by picking up John. But I mean, to each their own, I guess. Everyone does their own thing, right? So
the trade that really is going to come back to haunt him is trading Brandon. I don't understand that trade. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Josh and Fricks for Brandon and Wolfie. If you look at St. Louis, their goaltending is not very good. Their goals against is second highest in the league behind Nashville.
Yeah,
a decent amount of goals, but you got to have some sort of reliability in net.
No, I completely agree.
They're looking okay, but
I think their defense looks solid. I mean, Wolfie's 6-3 right now. I mean, he's solid. I mean, he's showing that he's one of the better 500K lefties on the with a bid that got a bid in bidding. He did well on Wags' team last season in Columbus. I mean, but yeah, I do agree. Fricks is a one of the better goalies in the NHL, hands down. I didn't understand that trade either. But then again, Neji likes to trade, it looks like. So, and there's no questioning that because there's been about, 8 trades out of there. So maybe he just he wants to see what his team can do differently or better. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they can ever get out of that third to last spot in the division. But with the strength of the Central's top 4 teams, I just don't think it's going to happen. Let's go ahead and talk about another trade here, real quick. How about the trade I got a lot of shit for? Pierre, you picked up Mew.
Yes, sir.
You wanna put your 2 cents on, and I'll put my 2 cents.
I mean, Mew's been my boy for a while. Mew's been my friend for a while. I've been wanting to get him for a while. You know that because I ask you about him all the time. And Sakic, in my opinion, is still a solid piece that I gave up. He went 2-0-1 for me this week. Mew looked like he was struggling a little bit on Columbus, but honestly, I just hope it works out for both ends. I hope Mew steps it up, and I hope Sakic continues to play well. I don't know what you think about it, though. It's on you.
Yeah,
honestly, I like Mewtwo as a player. If I had him, we had him last season playing wing. He did great. We had him playing with Sitful and the Party Poopa, who had his best season for a minute there with me before he won it out. And Sitful quit. And Mewtwo did great. The issue we have with him is that we really just couldn't get him to plug in a mic. And he wanted to play center, so we had him flanked by Brosh and his boy Bure, and even his buddy Bure was just like, I can't really play with a center that doesn't have a mic. So cost us a game by breaking the controller because we lost the game before that. I mean, that was fought with our GM a lot.
Unavailable? Or did he his controller stop working mid game?
You ever seen Gronk after he scores a touchdown? He literally spiked it on the fucking concrete floor.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like me too. If he's not happy, man.
Yeah, and so
you should hold on to that controller. I think it's a good tip for anybody out there.
I think If I could have had a video, it might have rivaled Pain Train's ECMU video that everyone loves so dearly.
Well, do you remember Duck Duck Nyquist did that in the CHL like 8 seasons ago, and he posted a video of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was probably something pretty similar to that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure insert any nerdy kid spiking a controller, and you'd probably have a picture of Mewtwo spiking his controller after a Carolina loss.
I don't blame him if it was a Carolina loss. I would have probably.
It was a Carolina loss week 1. Calm down. That's okay. We lost with 40 seconds left. Anyways, I mean, I like to trade on both ends, to be honest with you. We picked up a much, much better 500K lefty that I can play with. There's no reason why I should be the 5th best defenseman on the team. So I'm going back to being 6th, and that beefs up our defense a whole lot. I love Fox, but we just had to do it. I mean, I think it'll help you a lot. I think it adds scoring for you, and that's the big thing. Our team really didn't struggle with the scoring aspect. So we were able to move them. I think, honestly, it was a very helpful trade on both ends.
Yeah, and it got done pretty quick too.
Yeah, let's go ahead on the next topic. Let's talk about the downfall of the Oilers and Tampa. And of course, we talked a little bit about Carolina. We could touch on them too if you guys want. The Oilers looked like they were going to make a playoff push after week 2, and then shit the bed heavily in week 3. Tampa Bay did the same thing. And so did Carolina. Each of these 3 teams won 2 games in week 3.
Yeah, man. Honestly, with Edmonton, if you look at that division, though, dude, they're 5 points out of wild card spot. Like, they didn't fall so heavily off the map like a Montreal, where it's like they're never going to be able to climb back. I honestly have faith in Snoopy this season. He's not stupid. This was just a tough week for him. I think that they can climb back, though, to be honest with you.
Looks like they rebuilt their second line, too. A little bit. They traded Obito away.
Yeah. They did?
Yes. I believe they dropped into the AHL and picked up Gentry.
I mean, it just, however they do it, they have no cushion anymore. They are playing catch up, and
that division, that's the worst division to play catch up in. Like, if they were in the Eastern Metro, like where we are 4 points out, or the Islanders are even 9 points out, like if the Islanders turn hot, like they could make a playoff push. But it's I think Edmonton, honestly, it depends. Can their new third line left or second line left wing play second line in NHL? Like, that's the huge question. We've seen the number 1 drafted player potty up here for 3 weeks, and to be completely honest with you, I'm not impressed. In comparison to the season before that, where we saw Tomac and Rio number 2.
He definitely could do better. I think, and I don't know who he's been paired with. I feel like he's been not been paired with Peaks or Midi. I think he's been with
He's been with the other line.
The second line,
definitely with less talent. I feel like I don't think Poopy wants to stack, well, as much as he can stack the top line. For good reason, they need to win more than 3 games a week.
But why not pull Midi off that line and throw Potty with Keeks and throw Midi with somebody?
Because he needs 3 wins a week. I think if you pull, I think Keeks is an amazing player, but if you pull Keek or if you pull Midi off of that, like, what if they turn around and have another shitty week? They're fucked. They're not climbing.
I don't know. Is it time to pull the panic alarm and switch lines up?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I mean, you're Poopy Snoopy. What do you do? Like, well, that's a bad question because Poopy doesn't do anything that a natural, regular owner would do, to be honest.
Currently, 2 forwards, and if I were him,
I think his AHL's got 4 extra forwards, though, so somebody's coming up.
There's a lot of teams with cap space, and some.
You see Keeks get moved?
No.
It's possible.
No, I don't think.
As a manager, I'll tell you, Keeks won't get moved.
Yeah, he's not getting moved.
The only one I can see out
Really
there
good
taking
players
is
for him.
Mitty, but does Mitty command enough return to get 2 second liners for?
No, it's-
Because I'll be straight with you, as an owner, I would not trade 2 second liners for Potty either.
I don't think I would trade. I don't even think I would trade one. He's
No.
not proven at all.
the question
Completely
is, would you
unproven.
rather
An interesting thing that no one knows about Potty is he's gone through the draft twice. In the draft where I had 1,700,000 first round picks, we had a draft spreadsheet. He was on it. He did not get picked up by us or anyone else.
The
Just a
question
very
is, are you going to
interesting
sit there weeks and not make the playoffs? I mean, if he makes the playoffs somehow, I mean, he could possibly.
I mean, this is poopy.
Then it's a
Snoopy.
good
Would he ever
situation,
do
but
anything conventionally?
playoff chances would honestly improve if they made a move, if they had a favorable move with several forwards, like what Kirsch did with Rahanic. Yeah, he could possibly get a better overall team at the cost of if he makes the win games for him. I think that what's the benefit of holding on to Keeks if you're not going to make it?
No, I completely agree. Let's jump over to Tampa a little bit. Let's talk about Tampa a bit. This is a team that just traded Gren away. They have a league, top 10 point scorer in Slim, or Lekanen as he's now called. I mean, this is a team I for sure thought was going to be better. But I mean, I think they'll do better with McLovin now, but it's still a huge question mark. I think they really haven't shown that they have depth.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I feel like Bossy, as much as I like him, I feel like he's made too many trades. He started trading his big guns after week 1, and I mean, they just need to settle. Their division's wide open. They can make playoffs at any time. They just need to settle, try to build some chem, then move that one.
After Buffalo made the move for, I don't know if you saw this because it got looked as a reversal, but me and Taco actually looked. A1 Freak got traded for Master America and his buddy Johns.
Really weird.
And they're behind, and Tampa's behind Buffalo. Hands down now, if Buffalo plays their cards right, I think they improve their third line. There's no way Tampa makes it. Just my opinion.
Last season, Bossy won like 20 straight games towards the end of the season, and went on a ridiculous
he only made playoffs because Florida dropped out with the second tax.
And Toronto. Toronto.
Yeah, that is
there was
true.
2 huge dropouts, but I would say that trade sending Nav to the Rangers, I think that really up with Gren and Hopkins. Hopkins quit. Gren, I mean, they got McLovin for Gren, but you couldn't really have expected that to happen when you first got Gren. I don't think anybody could say that Gren was going to fetch that.
No, I didn't think he was going to fetch McLovin, but I think that was a huge trade for them, yes. The question I still have for that team, can their depth get them up the fucking standings? Because it hasn't so far. And that's what I
really don't know.
of.
They got good defenders. I mean, Salt, Keith, Nasty, Canuck. That's a good top 4. That should be the job.
Their 5 and 6 drop off heavily. Who do they have? Karoxy and Magic Sticks?
Roxy and Seaclin. They traded Magic Sticks to the Rangers.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was either Seaclim or Magic. Okay, so they got Seaclim, and yeah, I just don't know. The third line's questionable. Everyone's third line's questionable this season. It's really weird. But let's jump over to Carolina before we start on our last topic. You guys see this one going anywhere? I mean, we talked a bit about it in the standings. 3 guys quit already. I just don't know if Like a Boss can do it.
Done. It's sad to say.
Are hopes and dreams dead in Carolina?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the fork in it right now. I think Montreal and Carolina are the two that are 100% done.
I honestly think the Islanders are done with that last move of Craigie for A1 Freak. Unless they give A1 Freak that GM tag, I think they're done. And I think that's a must on their part.
It's done.
That's the only way they start climbing up the mountain. And right now, they're kind of plateaued. Well, hey, let's move on to our last topic real quick before we end the show. Bold predictions and surprises this season. Taco, I'll send it to you. I know you sound like you got some fun ones.
Honestly, I think Tampa's gonna make a wild card spot. I think get over Buffalo. I think they're gonna get the 2 wild card spots, probably the 8th one. Toronto falling down, and probably it's gonna be tough because you got Ottawa, Detroit, Boston, and above them. You have to take one of them. I mean, you think the Metro's not gonna have a wild card team?
For my sake, for my sake, I hope they do. But I mean, I could see Tampa definitely making a wild card push. The addition of McLovin. I mean, and like I said, I didn't understand that trade for Colorado. I think that St. Louis fucked up by trading McLovin for Grant, and I think they won a trade and then immediately lost one. And I think Tampa is going to reap the benefits of this.
What do you think,
It just depends on their third line. Their third line defense has to get better. What's your next prediction? I know you said you had 2.
I continue his hot streak and go 15-0. I think he's gonna carry the Flyers to victory without Rahanic. I think he's gonna be put down with Joe Master and Elitsov. They'll recognize that, and I think he'll continue to succeed.
Sounds like a reasonable prediction. I can see it. Pierre, what about you? You got any fun, bold predictions?
Paddleite Renoris.
Get out of here. Shut the fuck up.
I like it a lot.
Honestly, in my honest eyes, I can see Vegas in my division climbing up the ranks. I know they had a shitty start, but I can see them making a few trades, and I can see them even jumping us, to be honest. They have a smart group of management. I think that they're going to jump. Just a feeling I got.
Anaheim?
No, Vegas.
Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see it if they can put the puck in the goddamn net.
That's like any team, though.
Yeah.
Is that the lowest goal?
You got any more predictions?
No,
or?
went over that. That's Montreal. Sorry about that.
It's true. You got any more predictions, Pierre? Is that it?
Right now, that's it.
All right. I got 2 predictions. First one, I've already given some love to Buffalo about that Keeps trade. And I thought they won the original Keeps trade. But then Spectre decided that A1 Freak was going to be worth Master America. And I kind of lost my shit on the inside when me and Taka were talking about that, as I didn't actually find that until about 30 minutes ago. I think, honestly, Buffalo has a scary 1-2 punch now. I think having Keeps and Master America as your 2 centers makes you hands down probably one of the best top 5 teams with center depth. The big question I have for them is their defense needs to get one hell of a lot better on the third line, and their third line is questionable. I mean, Dookie is not the Dookie he was in the past.
Okay, but Dookie on your third line is nothing to fucking snub your nose about either, right? Like, I have a feeling that they're going to do well, too. Dookie obviously isn't what he used to be, but at the same time, having Dookie on your third line, it's not a bad thing to be saying.
That's true. It's true. I mean, I I'm unsure about the depth. If you got Dookie playing with the third line defense, it's questionable. But I think they will make a push, and I think they're going to end up in playoffs. I'd say they actually make that third slot in the Eastern Atlantic if all things are, said and done today, and no one else makes a move. I think they definitely can make it. I don't think Tampa has the depth to make that third spot, but I still think that Tampa will make the wild card.
Thing to say about Buffalo
my
that
other-
I think none of you
Go
mentioned
ahead.
Fertilizer. He's so underrated. Nobody. It's kind of a shame. Fantastic goalie, probably better ones if not.
Yeah.
Doesn't get
I
mentioned
mean,
enough. And
he-
playing 6 a week for him. So
They really have underrated guys on that team. Like, I just think like Hone's Rule, like as a third liner, is nasty.
I mean, I don't think he's a
Tanaka-
third liner. Look at his price tag.
I don't know. He plays with Tanaka, so I think that's your third line.
Yeah, but he's also $3.5 million, right? So
4.2.
Yeah.
4.25, right? Yeah, it's more.
Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not third line. I'm sorry, second line.
Yeah,
But
because I mean, I know what you're getting at. It's he built a good team this season.
I don't even think he built a good team. I just think that trade, the fact that he was still able to get something done with Master America after they originally sent keeps over, I would say A1 Freak is 50% of the player keeps it.
Yeah,
Still an NHLer. For that price tag and his skill level, I think Spectre got fleeced on it.
yeah, but then
But then again,
he moved.
yeah,
him for
he
Grady.
turned around and got Grady. Yeah, so I mean, good trade, but he really got ripped on the first one. So, my next prediction before we go ahead and wrap up the show, I'm going to say that Anaheim does make a push for playoffs, and I think Calgary drops out pretty hard. Even with the addition of Rahanic, I think they move too many valuable depth pieces to really be considered as a great team and that third place team in the Pacific. I just don't think they can keep it up. I just don't see it. You guys got anything to say?
You can put your comment on first.
I mean, I just honestly think like with a third line with Gallero who's been underproducing, I just don't see it. Gallero, you moved Joe Master, you moved Nylander, and I think Nylander statistically was one of the best forwards on the team. I don't know if he was getting fed third lines or what, but I think you really fuck up by bringing in a guy that he talks a lot of shit. He can back it up, but I think adding Rahanic for those two pieces was a loss. So
It seems kind of odd to take your two successful forwards, that are arguably your top line guys, and moving them for one who is potentially going to be out for eye surgery.
and it's eye surgery.
He's also
So
short of forward now as well. I don't know if he has a call up coming, but
I know he has a very good AHL team that we could see a call up, but I just like and Rahanic's not French, so that's another interesting move. Added on to it, like
I don't think he cares. I think he just wanted to be out of Philly. Certain teams, I think he didn't care where he went.
yeah. All right, boys. Well, that is all for the LGHL Puckcast, episode 1. This will be a weekly show, so be sure to leave some comments in the forum thread, and make sure you give us some advice if you want something said in the show or anything. Got some segment ideas, we'll be sure to look out and consider them. Aside from that, I'm Batty with Peter Talent and Psychic Taco. Thank you for listening, and good luck in week 4.